We stand against all forms of discrimination, and there is no place for it in our sport. We will embrace and celebrate differences everywhere, knowing that with diversity, together we are stronger. Here at Glamorgan County Cricket Club, we're dedicated to raising the game, so if you witness any form of discrimination, you can challenge it and call it out by contacting your nearest steward in the strictest confidence. Thank you very much. Jochen Bauer. Over the past few days, Glamorgan County Cricket Club has, like everyone else, been marking the 80th anniversary of VE Day. We pay tribute to all who served in the Second World War, including Glamorgan players and members who made the ultimate sacrifice. In particular, Maurice Turnbull, our captain during the 1930s, who was killed in battle in Normandy in 1944. They will never be forgotten.
Good morning and welcome to Sophia Gardens for this game between Glamorgan women and Sussex women in the ECB T20 Cup Round 2. Both these sides have already had a win to get to this point. Glamorgan overcoming Gloucestershire and Sussex overcoming Buckinghamshire. It's a lovely day here on Saturday, the 10th of May, here at Sophia Gardens, where Glamorgan have won the toss and elected to bat. You've got myself, Blake Bint, and Alid Hopkins alongside me for the proceedings in this T20 fixture. And Alid, I'll allow you to run through the Glamorgan team.
Good morning, good afternoon, Blake. Lovely to be here. It's, as you said, a lovely sunny day here in Cardiff. A little bit of wind in the air, but not too much to put the players off. And Glamorgan will field an unchanged team from the last game. Lauren Parfitt, captain in the side, with Eve Jackson, Sarah Phillips, B. Ellis, Georgia Parfitt behind the stumps, Charlotte Scarborough, Daisy Jeans, Katie Cobb, Beth Gammon, Georgia Porter, Poppy Tullock and Emily Burke rounding off the side.
And for Sussex, you will have captained by Ciara Green. Behind the stumps will be Molly Adams as they field first. There's also Lottie Curling, Izzy Collis, Anna Buckle, who's one of the 3 changes coming into this side, Eve O'Neill, Talitha Stanley, Jazz Westley, Anna Lewis, Phoebe Wilkinson and Lucy Weston, who is also in from that game against Bucks on Monday. So as the players take the field, we expect it to be Lauren Parfitt and Daisy Jeans for Glamorgan, as it's just being announced over the tannoy, which I believe it is. And Glamorgan winning the toss and batting first, Aled. Right decision?
Yeah, well, these two sides played each other a couple of weeks ago in the 50 over game, which got reduced down to a 25 over game in the end, and Glamorgan batted first on that occasion and put out a really strong total, which Sussex really struggled to match, really struggled to find the boundary. So maybe a little bit of wishful thinking in hoping that they can do the same on this occasion. Obviously 5 overs less per side in this game, but a similar sort of style of cricket I think we'll see, and Glamorgan will back themselves to get a good total here.
And Lottie Curling it'll be to open the bowling for Sussex, who I'm sure are quite happy to be bowling first on this occasion after being reduced to 8 for 3 when they batted first on Monday against Buckinghamshire. And I believe this is Lauren Parfitt taking the first ball as captain. Or is it Daisy Jeans?
This is Jeans, I believe. Yeah, I think Parfitt's up the other end.
Oh, she's delegated well.
Yeah, Jeans with the first delivery. Don't know whether they rock, paper, scissors over that or...
We're quite far over on the square as well, aren't we, towards the pavilion stand?
Yeah.
So you will notice there's quite a short boundary, so hopefully we can see plenty of big hitting. Hopefully a nice high-scoring game for us today as we just get ready. It's a couple of minutes early before 12 o'clock. That'd be nice to get underway before the scheduled time. Lottie Curling then with the first ball, and Daisy Jeans is watchful, playing it out to cover. If we just have a look around the field, it looks like a deep square is the only field outside the circle, so Sussex taking a rather attacking approach initially.
Yeah, fine leg as well, but other than that, in front of square, that as you said, very attacking field early on for Curling.
That one is just angled in towards leg stump, but it's played to mid-wicket. And there's no run. Glamorgan happy to just take their time. No rush in the first over.
And just taking a look at this square, there is quite a lot of grass on it, but with the weather we've had recently, we do expect it to be quite hard and offer a decent bit of bounce for the batters. But early days here, not too much to shout about from the pitch.
Jeans looking to play into the leg side again. That mid-wicket fielder already in action. Plenty inside the first 3 balls.
Good tight line here from Curlin. Good start from her. She's bowling to her field at the moment, keeping it tight, and Jeans is struggling to get her away early doors.
That one does get through mid-wicket with a bit of a flick through the leg side, and it looks like it is going to get to that short side boundary, and it does. So the first runs of the day and the first boundary of the day goes to Daisy Jeans, and she'll be happy to have that under her belt in the first over. Yeah,
and I cursed Lottie Curlin there. She, as I said, she was struggling to get her away. That's a nice shot from Jeans, just uses those wrists well, guides it through the onside and finds a gap, and it with this outfield is pretty quick, isn't it? That ball was not hit too hard, but it found its way to the boundary in the end. So nice to see a quick outfield in this game, and might see a lot of runs come from that.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly timed from Jeans. I'm sure it would have raced away much quicker to that short side if she had, and she's looking for the same shot again on this occasion. It does just fizzle out to short leg kind of area where it is no run as the keeper, Molly Adams, comes round. Sister of Hampshire captain Georgia Adams, and played together a little bit for the Vipers.
Yeah, lots of Vipers representation in this Sussex team. Lots of good experience from that academy, that organisation.
Just missing her line is curling, so she will have to bowl an extra one in this first over of the day. Glamorgan, I'm sure, will be happy to bat in the sunshine. Ball shouldn't do too much. I can imagine that the white ball does tend to not offer too much, but with the green on the wicket, as you mentioned, Alid, hopefully Sussex will be looking for a bit of movement there. And it's the same shot as the one that brought the boundary for Jeans. This one is timed better, but pretty much in the exact same position as the last one, and that one does race away much quicker. And that concludes the first over. Glamorgan will be happy, 9 from it.
Yeah, it was a good over in the end for Glamorgan, and just as we were saying, Curlin was bowling tight lines. She just strayed a little bit too straight maybe to that and allowed that shot to the onside, and Jeans was looking to work that just between mid-wicket and the deep square leg on that onside, and she managed to get that twice. As you mentioned, that second shot, timing it a lot better, and with this outfield it's going to run away, so it's going to be, looks like Kiara Green, the captain from this Cathedral Road end, to open up for Sussex. And Lauren Parfitt just taking her guard. First deliveries for her, so captain against captain early on. Interesting battle this will be. So spin from the start, Blake. That's an interesting choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It worked against them for Buckinghamshire the other day, so we'll see how Green goes.
And a bit of a loosener there down the leg side. Not the start she would have wanted, but comes in again. Plenty of experience, Kiara Green. And that's better. Just fished outside the off stump there, Parfitt. That's a nice shot down the ground. It'll go out to long on, and they'll take a single. So Jeans back up to the other end, and interesting guard taken there by Jeans. Looks like it's a middle and off guard for on this screen. Yeah,
I think it would to play with the spin, I believe. To even though it is to the longer side, she'll want to look to play with the turn.
And an edge just finds the fielder behind there. No run. Again, looking to be attacking here, Jeans. She's off the mark quickly with 2 boundaries in that first over, so she fancies herself for a score today. And looking to work that down to long on again, but just paddled out into the onside. And that's better timing, and it'll beat the fielder there at mid-wicket, and they'll pick up a single. Eve O'Neill there at mid-wicket. I think she's going to have a lot of work to do in this game with these two batters, looking to work that ball through that gap on the through mid-wicket. And nicely taken down to long on. Another single will come through, and it's the end of Green's first over, 4 from it. Glamorgan 13 for no loss off the first 2 overs.
Yeah, I'm sure Kiara Green will be happy with that start after bowling a loosener down the leg side. First ball of the over. It is the exact same opening new ball partnership as they did have on Monday when they were trying to restrict Buckinghamshire, defending just 124, which they did successfully. Curling and Green both getting openers for Ducks on that occasion, not to be today. But Glamorgan, a formidable outfit. They've had a good start to the season in both the T20 format in this cup competition and in the One Day Cup, which you were here for when they played Sussex, weren't you, Alid?
I was, yeah. It was a brilliant performance from Glamorgan. Obviously a historic day, first ever game of Glamorgan women's cricket, and they were excellent all over the field from batting, bowling, and what really impressed me the most on that occasion was the energy in the field, and they really, really restricted Sussex with their energy in the field, especially Beth Gammon in the cover region, and she was just absolutely everywhere. It was a brilliant performance from Glamorgan.
And this is one of the changes. Anna Buckle in already, just 1 over from the opener Curling. And that one is turned out to the deep square fielder. So it's the exact same field as was had by Lottie Curling, that deep square and fine leg to the short side. Lauren Parfitt just happy to give the strike to Daisy Jeans in these early stages of proceedings.
It was a bit of a full toss there from Buckle initially, and I think it surprised Parfitt initially.
And looking to hit that power flea, and she does. It beats mid-wicket, and as you said, Eve O'Neill is going to be busy in that region, already has been, and that one did beat her to her left-hand side, and that raced away for 4 out towards a wide, long-on region, and Daisy Jeans already firing away.
Yeah, really well struck, that one. Really nicely struck through that mid-wicket region, and the Sussex bowlers at the moment, if they're going to play with this strong attacking offside field, they just need to vary their lines a little bit and bowl to that field a little bit more. That's a little bit too straight at the moment, a little bit easy for Glamorgan to work that through the onside.
That one just deftly played, a bit of a wide Yorker from Buckle. A comeback. Jeans just looking to dab out into the offside. That packed ring as it is on the offside towards the longer boundary, which is still brought in a fair way from the grandstand. All the spectators are in the pavilion stand at the moment. I'm not sure if there's any beneath us. I don't think there is towards the media centre. So all the viewers in the pavilion stand getting a good look from around, probably only around 50 yards away.
Yeah.
Hopefully a couple of crowd catches.
Yeah, they're in that. I hope everyone on that side has got plenty of sun cream, because it's that stand has been baked in the sunshine at the moment. And of course, this game is free. So if you are close to the ground and you do fancy coming down to watch in the sun, then come on down.
And that one, another full toss from Buckle. It's heaved away from Jeans, only as far as deep square. She settles for 1 again at these early stages. In the third over, interesting to see a change so early on. I know Curling did go for 9 in that first over, but maybe they just want to chop and change, short format.
Yeah, keeping the batters on their toes a little bit. Maybe that was a premeditated decision anyway. Maybe they're saving her for the latter overs. But quick single there off a bit of a misfield. And Sussex can't afford for those little mistakes to give those runs to Glamorgan. It's been a positive start, 20 for no loss off the first 3. They're going at 6.67 and over at the moment, Glamorgan. And just silly little mistakes like that creeping into to the Sharks game is just not going to help the cause.
I think what we learnt from the game on Monday down at Newport for Glamorgan is that Lauren Parfitt will very much play the anchor role, depending on who she's batting with, of course, but Jeans already looked to be the aggressor from the start. Gammon already had such a strong start. She'll be due in next, and BLS, who I think is down at 4 today, was down at 5 on Monday. She just looked to support her, did the captain Parfitt. Yeah,
59 for Parfitt on Monday, as we mentioned. Really, really sizable total, good contribution from the captain, and she's had to wait for her time. She's missed the start of the season, the first couple of games with injury. So I spoke to her at the kit launch, and she was frustrated with that and couldn't wait to get back out there. And she started really well.
Good fielding in the deep to prevent the 2 on that occasion. I think Parfitt was keen for it, but Jeans said no, thank you on this occasion.
That's a shorter one, and Jeans can't get that one away. It was a little bit of a loose ball from Green, a bit of a gift, and Jeans couldn't capitalise. So Green getting away with one there, but back in again, and a sweep to that leg side. There is a fielder out there. She's chasing it down and makes a good dive in the deep. They'll come back for 2.
Yeah, good fielding out in the deep. I thought that was a really well placed sweep shot from Daisy Jeans. But the fielder coming round had a lot of ground to cover from deep mid wicket to get backward of square on that occasion. I can't see the shirt number. That's something I've already noticed from this Sussex side shirt. It's very difficult to work out who's who.
And that shot again, back out to fielder on that side, and that is Lucy Weston, number 37 out there.
I thought it was a 30-something. I was trying to work out what the second number was.
We need some binoculars up here, Blake. I think it's quite a long way from the field at times. And just looking to cut that behind point. Didn't quite get enough on it and straight to her, but another decent over here from Green, last ball. It's fished outside the off stump and well taken behind by the wicketkeeper. So Green finishes her second over. Glamorgan a 25 for no loss off 4 overs, and a really good start here for Glamorgan, Blake.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy. The power play, of course, the first 6 overs, so they'll be looking to capitalise when there's just 2 fielders outside the circle. Daisy Jeans has done so. Lauren Parfitt, as I said, does tend to just take a little bit more time to get going, but as captain, I'm sure she'll take it upon herself to stick around, face as many balls as possible. She did bat the full 20 overs on Monday for that 59 not out. And it's gone back to curling here, so just the 1 over for Buckle, and back to Lottie Curling, who had the first over, went for 9 from the River Taff end, and once again Jeans targeting mid-wicket, this time to no gain.
And Green's moved herself into that mid-wicket region now and pushed long on out on that side, so a little bit of protection on that, a little bit more protection here for Curling on that side, with Jeans looking to whip that one away through mid-wicket.
Steps across, and that's well placed. 4 runs. Daisy Jeans, fine leg up in the circle, and all she had to do was beat the deep square leg fielder, and that she did to move on to 21, already taking it upon herself. Daisy Jeans and Glamorgan will be happy with this start inside the power play.
Fantastic shot there, just moved across, used the pace of the ball nicely, didn't hit it too hard and timed it really well to find the gap. Brilliant shot, and she's looking very, very good here, Jeans. She's accrued 21 runs off 18 balls. Hasn't really played a risky shot either. She's just taken what the bowlers have given her, and a little bit of a flash as I say that, and she has to retreat quickly back into her crease. Adams quickly looking for the run out, but as I said that, she's just taken what the bowlers have given her really, and played some really nice shots.
Yeah, I think getting a little bit carried away on that occasion is Jeans, with the long on fielder coming up into the circle. So she's just moving the field is Kiara Green, the captain. She's now moved to mid-on, and there's a deep mid-wicket to go with the deep square leg. And Jeans does look to go over. Does it get over? It does. Creeps outside that 25-yard circle. Mid-off and extra cover converge to prevent it to just 1 run. Glamorgan up to 30. And speaking of Glamorgan, let's talk about the men as well, because they're down at Kent, the Spitfire ground, St Lawrence, and 452 for 7. Ben Kellaway, a maiden first-class century for him. That's well played from Lauren Parfitt into the leg side, just taking 1. Very happy for Ben Kellaway, Cardiff Met student, as is yourself, Alan.
Yeah. He's had a fantastic knock down at Kent, and he's been played really well last season as well, and he'll be really hoping to cement himself in this side. So is Asa Tribe as well, another Cardiff Met student who's come into the team at the top of the order. A lot of runs in the second team early on in the season, and he had a brilliant knock in the first innings as well. So another player to watch for the Glamorgan men's team as that over comes to an end from curling. Glamorgan 32 for no loss off the first 5 overs, and I think Lauren Parfitt just having a word with Daisy Jeans, maybe just saying, just calm down. A few looser shots, should we say, from Jeans in that over. One just finding the gap between the fielders and lucky not to lose her wicket. I think Parfitt, as you mentioned, that anchoring role, just telling her to just calm down. They're going at 6.4 runs and over, a good run rate at the moment for Glamorgan, and Jean doesn't need to force anything, just take what the bowlers are giving her. And it's going to be another change for Sussex as Talitha Stanley is going to come on at this Cathedral Road end. So plenty of bowling changes early on for Sussex. Interesting strategy there from Kiara Green. Obviously not happy with how her bowlers are going. Or, as we mentioned, is that a premeditated strategy? We don't know.
I think it could be a tactic for herself, the off-spinner, using the new ball to maybe get a little bit of skid on or some natural variation with the harder ball in the early stages.
Stanley in, and that's wide outside the stumps. Adams was alive to it, though. And again, just a loosener for Stanley. Giving Glamorgan valuable runs, though. And every one of the Sussex bowlers really have given a wide away here and there. And it's a better ball, a little bit of shape on that one as well from Stanley. And Jeans just defends that one.
I think Talitha Stanley will be happy having this end. Allows her to bowl straight. She's got the protection on the leg side in the form of deep square and deep mid-wicket.
And a quick single through for Jeans. And that's one thing that Glamorgan did so well in the last game here against Sussex, particularly Beth Gammon, taking really quick singles, running every ball, looking to be really positive, and in the end it totaled so many runs that Glamorgan got in the end, not just from boundaries but turning ones into twos and twos into threes, and goes for a ramp shot and didn't quite see where that came off. I think Adams might have got a glove on it, potentially. Wasn't particularly well timed, but an interesting shot early on from Parfitt there. I've just seen the replay.
I think it might have come off her shoulder. A bit of swing there, off the shoulder.
Yeah.
A good option with no fine leg in place and only a short third inside the circle. So if you beat the keeper, you're guaranteed at least a couple, maybe 4 if there's plenty of pace on the ball. And
that's over the head of long on. And it'll trickle over the boundary rope. That's well timed. A well placed 4 there from Daisy Jeans. Went over the head of mid on, cleared her. Plenty of room there. Nice shot and an easy boundary for Glamorgan. And Daisy Jeans continues her strong start to this game. Stanley just having Kiara Green, just having a word with Stanley. She brings square leg up into the circle and long on will go back.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a communication of the length to bowl. There was the deep square and the deep mid-wicket, mid on and mid off, up in the circle. You've got to bowl tight and not too full, and that one was just allowing her to free her arms, Daisy Jeans. It was up in the slot, encourages her to go over the top. So maybe that conversation is just the decision for the move as long on goes into place and square leg comes up inside the circle.
And that's well struck again, this time over the offside, and that one will find the boundary again. So Stanley A bit of an expensive first over for her, 10 from it, but Daisy Jeans marches on, and that's another well-timed shot, as you mentioned, just that length in that slot area, and she was able to get it over the offside field easily and run away for another boundary to that short boundary side. Kiara Green just in conversation with Adams now. Where does she go from here, do you think?
Well, outside the power play now, there's no Doherty in the team for Sussex, who bowled 4 overs 0 for 8 coming on first change on Monday in that win against Tier 3 side Buckinghamshire. So not quite sure where she'll look to go. Maybe to Eve O'Neill, someone with a bit of experience at the top level, Southern Vipers. And that is, it looks like, who she will go to for this first over outside the power play, because it's been a strong start for Glamorgan. Daisy Jeans rectifying her antics from Monday when she fell for just 12. She went all guns blazing, hit 3 fours, and then was dismissed. This time, completely different story. Already on 32. There's Lauren Parfitt watchfully facing up to O'Neill on this occasion.
It's well bowled. She was the pick of the bowlers here last time in the shortened 50 over game for Sussex. She came on and took 2 really important wickets and just slowed the strong start that Glamorgan had made down. She was outstanding in that game. See what she can do here.
Parfitt just waiting for that one. I thought she was going to use her feet initially as it was tossed up by the leg spinner outside the off stump. Instead, just decides to take an easy single out to deep cover. No need for anything unnecessary from the captain. She's got plenty of experience. She knows Daisy Jeans is doing the work for her at the other end. And I thought she was bold, but no, just the keeper, Molly Adams, taking the bails off as Jeans looked to go over a vacant cow corner sort of region. There is a long on and a deep mid wicket, but there is a bit of room if she can get the slog sweep off. And I think that was what she was looking to do.
Beautiful flight there from O'Neill, just got that one up above the eye line, and Jeans' eyes lit up. Good work from Adams behind the stumps as well.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing, Eve O'Neill. As this is Jeans, unlike what your scorecard on the stream is showing. Lauren Parfitt had a single earlier in the over, so that was Jeans who played that out to deep square leg. The score is 45 for no loss. Oh no, just tossing that one up again. Lauren Parfitt trying to be innovative.
And she's gone.
But she is bold, and I think that was not the right option for the captain. I can understand the frustration, 7 from 12.
Yeah, and we saw her try that in the last over and didn't quite come off the wicket-keeper's shoulder. And as you mentioned there, as we see the replay just coming up here now, not really the right option. Yeah, and she's frustrated with herself. Just mistimes it and helps it onto the stumps in the end. But Eve O'Neill strikes again here at Sophia Gardens. And a much-needed wicket for Sussex to break this opening partnership. As we see Beth Gammon, who was absolutely incredible against Sussex last time, come to the crease. Only 10 on Monday, though, against Gloucestershire, so she'll be looking for a better showing here, like she did last time against this same team.
Yeah, Beth Gammon, probably one of the stars for Glamorgan so far this season. Already got 100, played for the Blaze last year, so despite her young age, already captained this side, already plenty of experience at the top level.
That's an excellent over from Eve O'Neill, first over, 1 for 2. Exactly what her side needs. And it looks like, is Kiara Green? No, it's still going to be Stanley, so she's going to come back on, and Stanley just needs to improve a little bit from that first over. Expensive in that first over, 10 from it. But with that wicket now in hand, that partnership broken, a little bit of life for the Sussex Sharks. And it'll be Daisy Jeans to continue at the taff end. A bit of shape outside the off stump there. Jeans looking to drive it through the offside. Just didn't quite time it. It's a good start there for Stanley from the over. A little bit full of that ball as well, a little bit more shape.
Yeah, she's allowing it to swing, and it still is the white ball, 7 overs old. But good to see positive signs, and Glamorgan won't mind that either.
And Morshay this time too much. So another wide. And it's just about that control, isn't it? When you've got that outswing movement, it's just about getting your line right and letting that ball do the work. And on that occasion, just a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's an interesting field for Sussex as well, with that away shape. Just the one fielder outside the circle on the offside, the deep cover, with 3 more on the leg side outside. So just...
Yeah, leaving that kind of drive region open for that single. I mean, with the way Glamorgan have started, I suppose Sussex won't mind singles at this stage. They just want to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit with these boundaries. And with Gammon at the crease as well, very, very capable of finding the boundary. It might not be a bad option just to keep that drive region open and put yourself with some protection on there and protection on the leg side as well. Gammon there, she goes and works it into that region for a single, so she's off the mark. And as I mentioned, Beth Gammon in the last game, really, really busy player, will always look to turn ones into twos, twos into threes. She's always looking to run every ball, and expect to see that here. I think Daisy Jeans is going to need to be on her toes. As that's well fielded by Stanley, the bowler. Prevents any run from that drive down the ground. A bit of a slap rather, more than a drive, but better over here from Stanley so far.
Yeah, I think being able to bowl outside the power play, she can have the protection she wants. Of course, in women's cricket, just 4 fielders allowed outside the 25-yard circle as opposed to 5 in men's cricket as well, so something to think about there when bowling.
And a nice bit of foot movement there from Jeans, comes down and whips it away to that leg side, down to that deep square leg region. And yeah, Stanley doing a nice job here, as we mentioned, with the field changes, just stifling the boundaries here a little bit, and Sussex won't mind a period of Glamorgan just taking the singles and stop this run rate climbing. She works it, but looks to work it behind square, but Green is there, and that's a decent over from Stanley. 4 from it, much better from her, and Eve O'Neill to come back on at the taff end, and Sussex a little bit of life in this game now. Glamorgan 49 for 1 off the first 8 overs, and this power play ending now has just brought the Sharks back into the game a little bit.
Yeah, just 6 runs off the 2 overs since the end of the power play. Eve O'Neill, as we mentioned, the real strike bowler for the Sussex Sharks, as this one's lifted out towards long on and comfortably taken. Daisy Jeans has to go. She was seeing it well, striking it well, but on 35 she has to depart. Again, just not entirely sure it's the right option. I know there's frustration of the last couple of overs, and when you're going well you want to keep that positivity, but long on and long off, both outside, that's quite a long hit out towards the River Taff.
It is, yeah, and as you mentioned, just a bit of frustration there, but nevertheless a very, very important 35 at the top of the order from Daisy Jeans, and a really valuable contribution to her team, I'm sure, as B. Ellis comes out to the middle. And yeah, Eve O'Neill 2 for 2 now off 1.1 overs, and she is the strike bowler in this team, and you know, when you're looking to take her on, she puts her field in the correct positions, and it was an easy enough catch down there. I can't quite see who the long on fielder was down there who took the catch. We'll try and
I
get.
think it might be Lottie Curley.
Yeah, it's a single number down there I can see, but I can't see which one it is. Yeah, and Eve O'Neill having a real impact here at Sophia Gardens again. So B. Ellis to the crease.
Yeah, and these two will be a fascinating watch together. Both very innovative players. Both like to score runs in unorthodox areas. Although that one is comfortably orthodox from B. Ellis, as she just dabs out to deep cover to get off the mark on her first delivery. But both very skillful players. B. Ellis, top scorer on Monday against Gloucestershire in the first round, 77 from just 41 deliveries. That one is a wide down the leg side. Eve O'Neill just missing her areas. It does run away, but the fielder will come round. Eve O'Neill doesn't bowl with a great deal of pace on her flighty leg spin. So just the 2 runs to go with the wide extras. Glamorgan do bring up 50. It looked like it was going to come much sooner after the power play, but a slightly slowed down run rate in the last 2.3 overs, controlled by Eve O'Neill, taking those 2 wickets.
Yeah, and I think these two will realise that Eve O'Neill is the strike bowler in this Sussex team, and I think they'll be patient. They've got a 55 already on the board, so a good amount of runs on the board. I think they'll just take what she'll give them, and just look to see her off, to be honest, because Beth Gammon from the last game will be well aware of her strike potency and her skills as a bowler.
So Ellis brought back onto strike. She won't be too against the score and position she's in. She's noodled that one nicely. They'll push the first one hard, looking for a second, but they don't come back. But she was in at 33 for 3 in that first round game, coming in at 5. She's been promoted to 4 on this occasion, and at 57 for 2, I'm sure she'll be much happier to be in this situation. And another good over from Eve O'Neill. There was 8 from it, but she did get the big wicket of Jeans, who, I guess you could say, did do her job. Got through the power play destructively with 35. Glamorgan, 57 for 2 off 9.
Yeah, and as we've just seen the replay there, decent contact again, but she's looking to hit it through that leg side, and it was flighted up on that offside line, so she had to go across to reach the ball, and just didn't quite get enough on it. As you mentioned, it is a long way down to that boundary from the square that we're on at the moment. As the
over wasn't concluded. We had 6 balls on our screen. Nonetheless, it was a dot, so still no change to my aforementioned. 55 for 2. Must have been some miscommunication with the scoring, because her figures are now 2 for 8 rather than 2 for 10, so just 6 from it. I beg your pardon.
I think some Cardiff Met representation in the crowd there. B, and I'm guessing Saz is Sarah Phillips, both Cardiff Met cricket players. B. Ellis been in very good form for the university side early on in the Buck season as well, and it was the Cardiff Met Sports Awards on Wednesday night, and the cricket club were quite well represented there. Yeah,
she had to face up to a teammate of hers, didn't she, a couple of weeks ago, Gemma Porter?
She did, yeah, against Gemma Porter for the University of Birmingham, and I think they've played twice now this season with 1 win each. 1 Cardiff Met win, 1 Birmingham win, so interesting battles there between teammates.
Yeah, Birmingham University, very strong women's side. I was just looking through their scorecard earlier. Of course, Gemma Porter in there, but Sophie Grayson as well, who playing for Oxfordshire. She scored a lot of runs already this season.
And that last delivery by Stanley, absolutely beautiful. The best ball she's bowled, I think, so far. and that's that line, and just works it out to that onside sweeper out there. Will cut it off, and this field change seems to have worked, or be working, sorry, for Sussex at the moment. These two just not able to get to the get the ball away to the boundary, but taking singles here and there. And I think for Sussex stopping this run rate climbing, that's exactly what they needed. As she just strays onto the leg side, and Gammon looks to pull that one behind square, come back for a single. So again, a much better over again from Stanley. She's into her rhythm now. And there's a lot of shape on that ball, just outside that off-stump region, and she's getting good movement on that ball. It'll pose a threat for this Glamorgan pairing, although Adams is standing up, and be a sharp catch if they do catch the edge.
Yeah, it could run away with just a short third and a short fine as well behind square.
And that's nicely played. We'll find the gap. Will it run away to the boundary? Yes, it will. So a welcome boundary there for Glamorgan. And as we just see the replay, Gammon pitched up, and she just works that one away through the covers, evades the fielder, and it'll run away on this outfield, which is proven to be quick, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, that comes off the back of probably the warmest April and start of May we've ever had, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and that was a sharp chance. Just didn't see whether that actually hit the ground or not then, or whether that was a chance for Anna Buckle. Didn't see a bounce, did you? On that?
No, I think that was a chance.
Yeah.
It was to her right hand side. She would have expected to take that. I think she was on the move. Looks like she had it and just got tangled as she was coming round.
Yeah, and I think it was Gammon there looking to free her hands again, give herself a bit of room, and sharp chance there for Buckle. It would have been a good catch if she had taken it, but I think she would be a bit disappointed not to have held on to that one. Would have been a huge wicket as well for Sussex.
Yeah, I think their team meetings, they would have been probably spending the most time talking about Gammon, someone who's already got a whole load of runs started this season. Eva O'Neill carrying on alongside Stanley, so O'Neill taking control as she has been from that taff end, and that's a clever shot from B. Ellis, something we saw plenty from her on Monday. This one does just go away for two. O'Neill not enough pace on the ball for Ellis to work that to the boundary, but taking advantage of no fielder behind square on the leg side, except that deep square leg who's pretty much bang on square from our angle. We can't exactly see the angle. The fine leg has now, a short fine rather, has come into place, because I'm not sure where I'd be setting my field to be Ellis. After watching her highlight reel on Monday, I think she would be impossible to set a field to.
And she played so many ramp shots that the Glamorgan media team here managed to make a montage on Instagram of her ramp shot. So it's a shot she's confident with, and one she's not afraid to play. So always when you do have a batter at the crease who can play those kind of shots, it does tinker with your thinking as a captain where to place your field. But Eve O'Neill doing a great job here for her team.
Yeah, just a rebuild period for Glamorgan here. They're just happy taking the singles, Gammon and Ellis. Two players, despite their youthful age, know exactly what they're doing. As I said, I think Gammon will want to spend as much time at the crease, especially as possible.
Absolutely.
Ellis did score pretty freely on Monday, just 41 balls for her 77, but on this occasion they are just happy playing it out to the fielders on the boundary. Ellis coming back for 2 here. This run-out's chance going to be tight. It wasn't a bad throw, even though did have to move slightly for it, but B. Ellis was quickly off the mark for the second. She ran the first one well, and I think this is what we'll notice to be the difference if Glamorgan are going to get to a competitive total, is those turning ones into twos with two not necessarily destructive players, but just clever.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that one sort of go through that cover region and slightly more towards extra cover with that fielder, I knew they would come back for 2 on that one. That's just the way Beth Gammon wants to play. B. Ellis as well, and it's going to be, I think, Jazz Wesley coming on at this Cathedral Road end for Sussex. Captain Green goes over just as a last word to her. So lots of changes here from Sussex, from the bowlers.
Yeah, one of the 3 changes into the side today, Jazz Wesley, so see what she can do.
That's nicely bowled. Opening ball, nice and full, right up in that block hole. And Gammon could only fish it out and nurse it down to long on. She'll pick up a single. And a reverse sweep behind her. That's beautifully played by B. Ellis. Looks like it will run away. Fantastic shot from B. Ellis. And again, that's another weapon in her arsenal. That reverse sweep, beautifully played. Lovely control on that shot, and finds the gap for another boundary.
Yeah, I reiterate my point. It's where can you set the filter? Because with a spinner on, it would feel like a waste to have a deep third or a deep fine, but with a player like B, it just seems impossible to know where the ball's going to go next.
And when we did the Glamorgan Media Day down here about six weeks or so ago, when we were talking to all of the Glamorgan women's players and asking them who's the one they don't want to have the ball come back at them in the nets, pretty much all of them said B. Ellis. She's a formidable striker of the ball, and we're seeing the wide range of shots she has here. So a huge asset for Glamorgan, or a player like that on their team. But it's been a decent over actually from Wesley so far. I think she hasn't done too much wrong. Tight lines, good flight, good pace too, and that's a slightly shorter one, and it'll be pulled away to that leg side. They'll only pick up 1 though.
Yeah, I think Kiara Green has managed her bowling ends well, because she's got Wesley from this end with the turn to the long leg side boundary. So if she does drop short, it would take a bit of a strike to lift it over those 2 fielders in the deep, and O'Neill from the far end, where you'd have to hit against the turn to go to the short end. So Kiara Green knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and another single to end the over. Glamorgan 78 for 2 off 12, and it's a decent start from Jazz Wesley, but good batting as well from this pair. Boundary off that over with that superb reverse sweep from B. Ellis, and just nursing those singles into that leg side where they do have fielders out in the deep, just taking again what the bowlers are giving them, and keeping this score ticking over.
Yeah, I think Glamorgan will be happy if they can do that, just get 1 boundary off the over and then tick a few away for singles. They'll be happy with 8 off the over, and that one finds the outside edge of B. Ellis, going with the turn of Eve O'Neill, and they do come back for 2. It was safe enough.
And Eve O'Neill into her last over now. She's been superb so far, 2 for 17 off her first 3. So Glamorgan will be quite happy to see the back of her. But what can she do in this over?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to bring her off. Bowling her superb spell, that one just tucked into the leg side. I'll just take you through some of the other scores. Glamorgan men in action, as we mentioned earlier. They're still 7 down, 487 their total now. Ben Calloway still at the crease. 135. Andy Gorvin nearing 50 as well. That one's a full toss, and that's well struck out towards the short boundary, but there is a fielder out there for protection, so just one. There's also the Women's T20 Cup going on throughout all over the UK. Cambridgeshire and Northumberland started a little bit earlier on. Cambridgeshire posting 130 for 7. Northumberland in pursuit now. Leicestershire Foxes will play Cheshire today as well as Yorkshire and Staffordshire. They get underway at 2:30, and so do Oxfordshire and Hertfordshire. And Yorkshire and Staffordshire I already mentioned. Eve O'Neill keeping it tight then in this her final over. 4 from the first 4 deliveries despite the loose full toss, and that one dabbed into the offside. B. Ellis looked to wind up over the offside. There is quite a tight ring with just the one fielder out at deep cover, so she opted against. Knows there's just 2 balls left to see off from the strike bowler, as we've been calling her, O'Neill. She just pushes back. Gammon wanting the single from the non-striker's end. Ellis, bit of frustration. She couldn't be able to get it away. And Eve O'Neill finishes a brilliant spell, as she had been for the first 3 overs brilliantly. 2 for 19 off 4. And Glamorgan 82 for 2 from 13 after a destructive start. What will they be targeting now, Alid?
Yeah, and seeing Eve O'Neill off, I think, will be a big sigh of relief for them. If I'm Glamorgan here, I'm maybe looking at 140, maybe even 150 from this point, possibly, with these 2 at the crease. Wickets in hand, obviously, as well. So maybe up to 140-ish would be a decent total. Jazz Wesley, though, will have something to say about that. Decent first over, a bit unlucky maybe to concede that boundary off a superb shot. See what she can offer the Sharks.
If we look at the Glamorgan lineup as well, Charlotte Scarborough is due in next, but depending on when the wicket falls, maybe Captain Lauren Parfitt will look to more destructive players down the order, if there are any to her fancy. Emily Burke on loan from Surrey. Gemma Porter, we've already mentioned, on loan from Warwickshire. Very good all-rounder as well. And then some more all-rounders as we get towards the bottom end of the 11 as well.
And Gemma Porter struck up a really good partnership with Gammon in the last game here against the Sharks. That's driven well through, and that'll find the boundary. So a welcome boundary again for Glamorgan, for Gammon. And she just frees her hands, whips it away through the covers. And that's nicely placed. As I was mentioning, Gemma Porter and Gammon, a really, really good partnership the last time these sides met here at Sophia Gardens. So a possible option for Rachel Priest to think about.
Yeah, the partnership building up now. 39 seamlessly has got to between Gammon and Ellis. Haven't had to do too much in fancy terms to get to that 39 partnership, and they'll look to push it on.
That's lovely placement again from Gammon. Just shifts her weight around, a little bit shorter ball from Wesley, and Gammon just manages to shift her weight beautifully, whips that one again through the leg side, nice pull shot, and finds that there's a small gap between there as well, but she found it. And another really good boundary moves her on to 22.
Yeah, slightly short from Wesley, and just going with her momentum was Ellis. So Wesley will need a big comeback on this final delivery to get out the over unscathed.
And it'll find the boundary again. So Gammon starting to motor now. She's finding her rhythm, and she's finding the boundary at the moment with ease. Was it 3 from that over? 3 boundaries from that over in the end?
3 boundaries, and the 2 singles, 14 from it. And just as Sussex Sharks thought they were fighting back, that's not what they would want, especially with Eve O'Neill finished her allocation now as well. Just 6 overs to go, and where do the visitors go from here? 96 for 2, Glamorgan. That 140, 150 mark you mentioned, Aled, will definitely be the target. And Kiara Green, the captain, has said, I will take it upon myself to try break this partnership, which nears 50. Those 2 boundaries to conclude the over. Push the partnership on to 47, making it the largest so far of this Glamorgan innings, beating 45 from Jeans and Parfitt. And that's clever batting as well from BLS. Watching Beth Gammon at the other end hit back-to-back boundaries. She's happy just to take the single down to long on from Kiara Green, playing with the turn. We'll see what Gammon has to offer here, because it is that short boundary towards the pavilion, and that will be hitting with the turn. So Kiara Green can't afford to miss her mark. That is short, doesn't quite get up as Gammon looks to pull. Coming back for 2, that's well run.
She's changed ends from her first 2 overs here, Green, and from those first 2 balls, seeming to me just from the naked eye, sending them through a little bit quicker, so a little bit more pace on the ball from Green at the moment. So interesting tactic there, and the change of ends as well. Maybe she feels too much flight on this side with that sort of slightly shorter boundary on this side. That one dragged wide. Yeah,
you can tell she's trying to hide it from the short boundary, especially to Gammon, who showed her hitting prowess in the previous over. And that 2 on the previous ball did bring up the 50 partnership. And that wide, bringing up the 100 for Glamorgan. So where can they go to from here? Gammon over mid-off. Didn't get to the pitch of the ball, so didn't quite time it using her feet, but she did manage to safely get it over. And I think they'll just be content taking 2s, both quick between the wickets. And if they can't find that destruction, 2 is the next best.
Yeah, but more of a flat bat, sorry, from Gammon there. Didn't quite get all of it, as you mentioned, as she goes into that, looking for cow, I think, cow region, but just hooks it more into the deep mid-wicket region, and they'll come back for 1. But I don't think Beth Gammon will be content with 2s at all, really. She's just that type of player. She wants to score as much as she can. She wants to run everything. She wants to hit boundaries, and yeah, I don't think she'll just be content with padding it into the leg side and taking 1s and taking 2s. So she'll be looking to find those boundaries.
Yeah, you could see exactly what she was trying to do with that previous delivery. I mentioned hitting with the turn to the short boundary it would be. So she steps across, looked to slog sweep, didn't get it, only got the single. Whereas Ellis is much more content playing a ball on its merit out to deep mid-wicket.
Eve O'Neill's just gone into mid-wicket there as well, so just trying to take that away as it goes straight down the ground. Gammon, and again doesn't get all of it, but they'll come back for 2. Yep. Gammon was actually a little bit on her haunches there, which is unlike her, but B. Ellis was on her toes, running to the danger end.
Yeah, maybe Gammon looking to just take the single and say, no thank you, I'll take strike from here on in. But B. Ellis did drag her back for a second as Kiara Green completes her 3rd over. She's now 0 for 19 from 3 as Glamorgan moves to 106 for 2. Plenty to come for the Welsh county with just 5 overs left. So I'm sure, as you mentioned, Aled, Beth Gammon in particular will not be happy with any delivery not going for a boundary.
No, she will not. I asked her after the last game against Sussex, taking those 1s and 2s, is that a tactic from Rachel Priest and Lauren Parfitt, or is that just the way you like to play? She said, I'm a naturally busy player, so she will do that all the time, as Anna Buckle will come back on at the Cathedral Road end. So just a 1 over early on. She opened the bowling, went for 7 runs off that opening over, and that's a beautiful shot from B. Ellis. Just moved across, gave herself some room, and powered it through the leg side. And that's a really, really good start to this over. Really strong base on that shot, and no problem finding the boundary.
It wasn't even particularly short from Anna Buckle on her return, and B. Ellis just knew exactly what she was doing with that before the ball was even bowled, it appeared. She knows where her strong areas are when looking to strike the ball more powerfully, And unfortunately for Anna Buckle, she was on the receiving end. So a lot to come. 5 balls left in this over, already a 4 from it. Not what you want on your return after bowling just 1 over earlier on. With 5 overs to go, and Glamorgan, plenty of batting to come. They're not going to hide at all.
An entire deep leg side field now for Sussex, just wanting to prevent those boundaries, as that one will run away again, and they're finding the gaps with ease at the moment, these two. And yeah, Buckle just dragging that one slightly short again, and just back of a length a little bit, and Ellis works it away through that gap again, despite 3 fielders deep on that boundary, on that leg side boundary, as fine leg now comes up into the circle, and long on goes back, or mid on goes back to long on, sorry. Constant tinkering with this field. And that's a better ball from Buckle, and Ellis not able to free her hands on that occasion. So these two motoring here at the moment, and giving Kiara Green a headache with her field placements. It's just off the edge, but it'll run away. Will it go to the boundary? It's been chased by Curlin, but it will run away for 4. And another boundary for Glamorgan. This time off the edge, so a little bit unlucky for Buckle. Ellis just looking to work that one through mid-on or mid-off, I think, and just finds the edge and it'll run away. And it's been that kind of day for Glamorgan.
I think B. Ellis just created her own luck there. 2 brilliant shots earlier in the over, picking the gaps. And then on that occasion, she does get a little bit fortunate, but much to her credit of how she's batted. Although, is it going to be the case on this occasion? No, because it's a brilliant catch.
It's a great catch. Jazz Wesley underneath it. Well taken, and brings to an end a fantastic cameo from B. Ellis. We just see the replay here. Yeah, just, looks like she's injured her shoulder there as well. It's not nice to see. So maybe that shoulder injury impacting that shot a little bit there. And she just spoons it up in the air, and it's well taken by Wesley. But B. Ellis, a brilliant cameo from her, and she gets a round of applause from everyone on that side, and it'll bring Charlotte Scarborough to the crease. So as we expected with this batting lineup, Scarborough, the batter to come out next.
Batter number 22, Charlotte Scarborough.
And with just over 4 overs to go, she'll look to attack surely as well.
Yeah, I think she will. Although Gammon is the one in good hitting form at the moment. I'm not sure whether she'll just play the supporting role. Didn't have too much luck on Monday against Gloucestershire, just 1 from 9 deliveries. Maybe just struggled to get it away on this occasion though. Perhaps her role given is just to get the singles, give Gammon the strike.
Yeah, and Gammon looking to run, but I think remembered then it's last ball of the over, and she'll keep the strike at this end. So a bit of an expensive over from Buckle, but she does take a wicket in that over, so a valuable contribution there. And with 4 overs remaining in the Glamorgan innings, they're 118 for 3.
Yeah, I'm just peering to my left as well. Last I looked, Gorvin and Kellaway both close to milestones. Gorvin was on 47, Kellaway 142. Since then, Gorvin has been dismissed. James Harris to the creases. Glamorgan near 500. Ben Kellaway 142, still there, batting with the tail now. And speaking of tail, towards the tail of this game, Curling comes back on after opening the bowling. She'll bowl the 17th and presumably the 19th if all goes well here. And it was Gammon taking a single off the first ball, exposing Charlotte Scarborough to 5 deliveries, the number 5 for Glamorgan. I was interested to see her come out to bat. I did wonder if it might be Emily Burke or Gemma Porter, but they have trusted their out-and-out batters.
Yeah, Charlotte Scarborough from Newport, 24 years of age, and that's a nice shot down to long on.
There's a lovely shot, doing exactly what she needs to do.
Yeah, gets Gammon back on strike, and one of the more purest, better looking shots that we've seen today, wasn't it? Even if it only yielded 1 run. So yeah, 24 years of age, Charlotte Scarborough from Newport, as we mentioned, and didn't play in the 50 over game here against Sussex last time. But
Gammon goes up in the air, and it does clear mid-off off that shorter delivery from Curling, rocking back. Not sure where that's entirely where she intended. Perhaps looking more over extra cover, but it was safe in the end as she moves to 36. But yeah, Charlotte Scarborough, one of the many Glamorgan squad members who represent Newport Cricket Club. I can count 7 of them in total.
Oof, and Gammon onto one knee, looking to power that through the leg side, just misses out that time, and very close to being bowled. Good stop from Adams.
I was right, 7 players from Newport in the Glamorgan squad. A couple of those not in the 11 today, but Lauren Parfitt is one of those, so knows what she's capable of, and knows what Beth Gammon's capable of as well, because her vice-captain has played a beautiful shot, over point, calculated risk, up and over with just the one fielder on the boundary on the offside. She got it square enough and it raced away, as it has been doing all afternoon thus far. Glamorgan to 126 for 3, and the run rate, as you can see on your screen, is a smidging off 7.5.
Yeah, really positive again from Gammon, and Weston on that side not able to prevent that one from going to the boundary again. They'll look for 2. She wants 2, but I'll have to settle for 1. And yeah, Beth Gammon playing a really, really important part in this game again. You can't keep her out of these games, especially in the shorter format where she has license to attack every ball and run every single hard, to be a busy player, as she self-describes. And the Sharks at the moment just not finding a way to deal with her.
50 against Sussex here, wasn't it? First game of the season in that shortened one-day cup game.
It was on debut, of course, in the first ever Glamorgan women's game. Captain as well. Fantastic performance, and another strong one again today. And that's a tired-looking ball from Anna Buckle. She's, as we mentioned in that last over, taken the wicket, but she has been quite expensive and just needs to find her rhythm here for her side in the late goings of this innings. And that's a better ball, and it's down the throat of the fielder, and it's well taken. Anna Lewis down there at long on will take the catch, and it'll bring to an end Beth Gammon's innings. She goes for 41, but another really valuable contribution to this total, looking to hit down the ground on that side, and Lewis moved herself across well and takes a good catch in the deep. But she gets another big round of applause on that side. She'll be frustrated, of course, missing out on a 50 again against Sussex, but another really, really valuable contribution, and she'll have plenty to say in the field as well, I'm sure, as Emily Burke comes out to the crease.
Emily Burke.
It was a good catch from Anna Lewis. Had to move round from long on relatively straight as Gammon heaved out towards Cow corner. It was a good catch from Lewis. Perhaps Gammon getting it slightly straighter than she wanted. But Sussex will probably be content now because they've got two relatively new batters at the crease. Scarborough just one from 2 deliveries. And now that Surrey Loney, Emily Burke out to the middle, 128 for 4. Glamorgan targeting 150.
Burke off the mark early, and there's a little bit of a misfield there, but they'll tidy it up in the end. And yeah, as you mentioned, 2 key wickets in the last few overs or so of Gammon and Ellis, and 2 relatively new batters out on the crease. But Glamorgan still will look for 145, 150-ish, I'd imagine. And Scarborough just nudges that one out to square leg, to deep square leg, and they'll come through for 1. So Burke, as we mentioned, Surrey Loney, and Surrey a much more established women's county than these two perhaps, and it's wide for Buckle. Great to have the availability of these lone players for counties like Glamorgan who are new to the women's game. Saw Erin Vukovic in the first game against Sussex, coming into the side on a 1-game loan. They've had a few of those 1-game loans just really helping us. That's a nice shot worked over the top from Burke. Will it run away to the boundary? Yes, it will. And a very well improvised shot there from Burke. Works it over the fine leg her fine leg shoulder really, and then away for another boundary, a valuable boundary at the end of this innings.
Yeah, I think you definitely notice the difference with the lone players, especially those from those Tier 1 counties. Saw Emma Jones playing on a 1-game loan for Glamorgan at Newport against Middlesex, where they fell short, but a contribution of 147 not out for the Surrey player on that occasion. I'm sure Emily Burke would love to have a contribution like that in a Glamorgan shirt, as she nearly ran herself out on that occasion with her numberless back of her Glamorgan shirt.
Good throw from Wesley there at mid-off. Direct hit, she might have been in trouble there. It would have been very, very close. Good piece of fielding. Another single, or 2. They'll come back for 2. It's a good run in from these 2. And these Sussex fielders and bowlers just looking a little bit leggy now at the moment. This innings has taken a toll on them. They've been chasing the ball around a lot. It's hot out there as well. And I'm sure they'll be quite happy to get in the shed and bat in 2 overs time, as Green comes back into the attack from the River Taff end.
Yeah, it won't be Lottie Curling as we expected. Perhaps saving her for the final over. Kiara Green has got 6 minutes to bowl this 19th over before the cut-off time of 1:15 being produced to us on the scoreboard here at Sapphire Gardens. Just a single off the first ball that was fired in from the captain.
Yeah, similar to her last over from this end. She's definitely sending them through with a bit more pace from this end, as you mentioned earlier, just trying to protect herself from that shorter boundary. But with Gammon and Ellis out now, and Scarborough and Burke at the crease, perhaps a little bit more flight being offered from her, potentially, as a reverse sweep is attempted by Burke, but not well executed, but they'll get a single off it anyway.
Yeah, just taking the run in the ring, regardless of where it lands. I think at this stage, not the right option, the reverse sweep. Obviously premeditated. It was heading down leg side, as that one has looked to be slog swept from Charlotte Scarborough.
Oh.
And 2 batters at one end, and I think they're going to get away with this, are they? Not
No.
quite. The throw came into the wrong end as they attempted to or Charlotte Scarborough attempted to, I should say. Emily Burke was not interested, eventually persuaded to run to the bowler's end, where the keeper, Molly Adams, just had to roll down to Kiara Green, and Emily Burke nearly got home with a diving attempt, but I don't think she's too happy with her Glamorgan teammate, is the Surrey loanee, Charlotte Scarborough.
Scarborough just didn't hear the call there, I don't think, or they were definitely on different pages anyway. Scarborough, as soon as she reached that end, immediately turned her bat and headed for the second, but miscommunication there, and perhaps that's just a lack of playing with each other and knowing each other's game. It can happen with these lone players who come in for short spells, and you could see the intention there, obviously, at the back end of this innings, wanting to turn those ones into twos, but I don't think there was two there, personally. And on different pages as Gemma Porter comes to the crease.
Charlotte Scarborough on strike, though, as she gets fortunate, edging, looking to play into the offside against the turn, and she gets four, much to Kiara Green's disappointment, the Sussex Sharks captain and bowler.
Yeah, it's unlucky for Green. It was well bowled, nicely flighted, just outside that off stump, and it's an unlucky boundary for Green, but a welcome one for Porter. She gets off the mark.
Scarborough down that end, and she's bowled round the wicket. Green goes this time, changed the angle, and it's worked straight away. Scarborough cramped for room, looking to play into the leg side, take one off the final ball of the over, and it's just snuck through her. Kiara Green getting a well-deserved wicket after that four on the previous delivery, as she concludes her four-over spell, 1 for 26, and with just 6 balls remaining, Glamorgan 145 for 6, and now it is 2 batters without a ball faced at the crease. Gemma Porter will be facing, and at the non-strikers end, I believe it's going to be Eve Jackson.
Yeah, it looks like Eve Jackson to me. And it well bowled by Green, as you mentioned, that change of angle. Not too much turn on that one, but nice pace and flight to it, and it beat Scarborough through the gate. And with two new batters out of the crease in this last over, 146 for 6 at the moment, Glamorgan. That's going to be Curlin the last over, I believe. And that one will stray down the leg side for a wide, so less than ideal start to this final over for Lottie Curlin.
Yeah, Curling is obviously trying to bowl very straight here. Can't give anything away in form of width to the short boundary towards the pavilion, so it's got to be straight.
Again, Cara Green favouring this packed deep leg side field. She's got long on, deep square and deep mid wicket out there, and sweeper out on the offside as well, so plenty of protection for Curlin. A shorter and it's just worked into the offside. Deep mid wicket will cut it off and they'll come back for 2.
Yeah, good running, and they can be allowed to do that, especially if they don't get full contact, as Gemma Porter did on that occasion. Just dragging it from outside off to that longer side, allowing them to get 2.
And it's just nursed up in the air. They'll go for 2, and the throw, if it had been a little bit better, she might have been in trouble. They're going for 3 here. They go to that side, and is that given? I'm waiting for the umpire's signal. No, I don't think it was
so.
given.
They managed to steal 3 from what should have only been 1 there.
Yeah. Well, it was looped up in the air on that offside between sort of extra cover, and perhaps lucky not to be caught, and they managed to get 3. So really good running from these two. Sloppy fielding, you'd have to say, though, from Sussex to allow 3. And third man just in action there. Final 2 balls then for Glamorgan.
Well, they've got to 150.
They'll be pleased with that, I think. And strays down the leg side again, so it'll be another wide.
You're very smart from Gemma Porter. You could see her wind up, look to pull that into the leg side. That is relatively well protected, particularly in front of square, so just deciding to pull out of the shot at the last minute.
Now she will look to go behind square, and she gets it over the top. It should be cut off, it is, so they'll come back for 2. And Porter will face the last ball of this innings. And an inventive shot there that she managed to run it away for 2. Didn't quite find the boundary she would have been hoping for, but an opportunity here with the last ball. And it's knocked up in the air. Should be a simple catch for Adams, and it is. So Glamorgan will end their 20 overs on 156. 7 wickets taken by the Sussex Sharks. And I think that's a very good total. They'll be happy with that. A defendable total as well, Blake. Contributions from Daisy Jeans, Beth Gammon, Lauren Parfitt, amongst others. And yeah, I think they'll be very happy with that one. Definitely a defendable total.
Yep, definitely 156. I think at one stage it looked like when the wickets were tumbling at from 45 for none to 49 for 2, just getting to a run a ball target looked like it would be an aim, but to get to 156 they'll be happy. Just to very quickly run you through those scores. Jeans with 35, Lauren Parfitt 7, Beth Gammon top scoring with 41, B. Ellis 33, and then towards the back end Charlotte Scarborough with 10, Emily Burke 8 when she was run out in bizarre circumstances, Gemma Porter just getting out at the end on 7, and Eve Jackson finishing 1 not out as well. So Sussex will be chasing 156 as we just take you through some other scores very quickly as well before we prepare for the second innings. Glamorgan men in action, 498 for 8 at lunch down in Canterbury as they take on Kent. Ben Kellaway just short of 150 not out at the moment. He's batting with James Harris. Also in this Vitality T20 Women's County Cup, Cambridgeshire women set 130 for Northumberland, who are 50 for 3 in pursuit. Leicestershire Foxes will also play Cheshire, Yorkshire against Staffordshire, and Oxfordshire against Hertfordshire, all underway at 2:30. But here at Sophia Gardens, Glamorgan 156 for 7. Sussex will be back in around 10-15 minutes time, needing 157 to win.
2 not out, Andy Gorvin the last one out for 47. Two missing bowling figures. Kiara Green, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 wicket for 27. Lottie Curling, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 35.
time.
Yeah, excellent wicket keeping from Parfitt behind the stump. She was top class in the last game here, and a really strong start for her. Again, lightning quick hands, really well bowled by Porter as well, and she strikes early. Exactly what the Sharks didn't need. You mentioned that game in the last round falling 8 for 3, and they can't afford to lose early wickets against this Glamorgan side, because they have players in their ranks that will just strangle that run chase. And a really strong start for Porter. Adams will be disappointed. Phoebe Wilkinson comes to the crease at number 3.
Yeah, we mentioned in the first innings the importance of the Tier 1 loanees and the quality they provide. Gemma Porter doing so straight away. Just 7 deliveries it took her to get on the board. Phoebe Wilkinson, as you mentioned, Aled, promoted from the first round. She was at number 5 on that occasion, where she had to stabilise the innings with captain Kiara Green, who we expected next. Well, she's in at 3 on this occasion as Wilkinson, and that one very full from Porter, but missed out by the Sussex Shark. Mentioned club cricket going on around South Wales. Plenty of men's fixtures today before the Women's South Wales Cricket League gets underway tomorrow for the first time back this season. Feels like a relatively late start, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
May 10th, but last week the men's league got underway, but I know some leagues around the country, I know particularly for my former club back in Oxfordshire, they only get underway today. It does feel very late, May 10th.
Yeah, especially when we've had good weather the last month or so. It seems a shame to waste the sunshine, doesn't it? And you're almost just waiting for that rain to come in the June and July months. Hopefully we won't see much of it, and we'll get a full summer of cricket this year.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? It's the years when it doesn't rain, it's a late start, and when it does rain, we're trying to start in the middle of April. Anyway, Gemma Porter has had a strong start to her second over. She's just 1 dot away from it being a wicket maiden to Phoebe Wilkinson, as she opts to bowl round the wicket once more, and that one is defended by Wilkinson, and she does complete her wicket maiden, does the Warwickshire loanee, so she's 1 for 1 from just 2 overs, and Sussex Sharks off to a very steady start, 5 for 1 from 3, and they won't be able to keep this run rate up for very long if they want to get into the third round and host Lancashire on next Saturday.
Excellent start from Porter again, and I think that angle just around the wicket, she's been really, really accurate with that line, and the Sharks batters are just struggling to get that ball away. It's cramping them for room a little bit, and she's been really, really disciplined with her line. Here's Cobb as well as it worked through the offside, and that's a lovely shot. Just a bit of width offered there, and Collis takes full advantage, frees her hands and punches it through that cover region for 4. Much needed boundary for Sussex. Just dropped a bit short from Cobb, offered a bit of width as well, and it was duly punished. And this one more towards the leg side, and a good piece of field in there from square leg, who's sort of more of a backward square leg. Can't see who it is down there. And again, more of the line, more towards the leg side, and just whipped away down to the sweeper for 1.
Yeah, she's opted to have more fielders on that offside with the natural turn of the left arm orthodox bowler. So just the 4 fielders on the leg side, one of those being that deep mid wicket out towards the longer side towards the grandstand. Still a fair way in from that grandstand, as we are quite a way over on the square towards the pavilion.
And that's given. So a bit of width from Cobb, and she gets a tickle on it from Wilkinson, who departs for no run. And that's another big wicket. Katie Cobb picking it up this time, the 19-year-old. And that'll really please her and her team. Much better delivery this time, as we just see on the replay. And just the slightest of touch, and Adams is able to take it. Umpire was very decisive. Finger went straight up. And Wilkinson departs without troubling the scorers. And that's a big strike for Glamorgan.
Yeah, already on the back foot of Sussex now, 10 for 2, needing exactly 9 and over from this point if they are to progress to round 3. So Glamorgan will be very happy with their start to the second innings.
Captain Green out to the crease, Kiara Green. And it's a wide ball from Cobb as she just strays down that leg side. And it's going to need a captain's innings from Green here if the Sharks... Oh, a bit of an overthrow. There was miscommunication there between Collis and Green. And a decent throw in at the bowler's end. Cobb not able to gather the ball behind the stumps, but she comes back in for the final ball of this over. Width off it again, it's worked away and it'll go to the boundary. Nice shot there from Green, will get her off the mark. And yeah, Cobb just straying with her line slightly, and Green was able to punch that away down to the boundary for a much needed Sussex boundary.
Yeah, definitely much needed. As you say, Alid and Green will have to occupy the crease for at least 12 or 13 of the next 16 overs, you feel, if they're going to get anywhere near this total. The Sussex Sharks, Glamorgan, just showing their strength already. We know they're going to be a tier 1 side in 2027, and they've already had a great start to the season, building from there as a bowling change sees. Surrey Loney, Emily Burke comes in for her first ball in this T20 fixture. Down in Kent, Glamorgan men are back underway after lunch, and they've just passed 500. I think around 125 overs have been bowled. I'm just watching the screen to my left. Ben Kellaway, who's on 143 not out after getting his maiden first class century today, and that one was loose from Burke down the leg side and just helped on its way by Izzy Collis, the opener, who has watched 2 fall at the other end.
Yeah, just helped on its way, as you said. She gets a touch on that to run it down to the boundary, and Collis quietly started quite well here. She's on 14 off 12 deliveries, so as you mentioned, she's seen her partners fall at the other end, but quietly going about her business here and picking up vital runs for her team.
So Emily Burke, the first bit of pace we've seen from Glamorgan, has taken us to the 5th over until we've got to that point. Not something you see all too often in well, any form of cricket actually. 2 spinners opening the bowling.
No, it's not one for the traditionals, no, but we do see it more and more in the game these days with new innovations in spin bowling cropping up all the time, and innovations in 2020 cricket. There's a wide comes in from Burke there, a little bit offline, outside that off stump, and she just needs to find her rhythm here a little bit.
Yeah, she does, coming in from the edge of the 25-yard circle, her run. That one was short again, as was the previous delivery that was given a wide. That one was on target, but as I say, short of length, not capitalised on by Izzy Collis, who could only find mid-wicket, who I'm going to guess, I think that was Beth Gammon. I'm sure
Yep.
I saw a 5 on the end, and it could have been Gemma Porter 85, Beth Gammon went 35, and Burke offline again. There was definitely swing there though for her, so encouraging signs, just still unable to find her line and length as a combination. As I said, the Surrey Loney.
Yeah, I think it will be Gammon in that region, as we mentioned. With batting, she likes to stay in the game and be a busy player. She was everywhere in the last meeting as Collis is able to flat bat that one down, and it'll only be a single on that side. And Green just taking her guard at this end.
Yeah, let's see how Green deals with the pace of Burke. Different batters tend to have preferences, don't they, whether they start against pace or spin. So, and particularly as a top order batter, as we mentioned in white ball cricket, you don't generally come in to face spin from ball one, particularly inside the power play, but it has been on this occasion. But she will face Burke now and doesn't get anything from it. So 22 for 2 are Sussex after 5 overs. 1 over left in the power play, and if they want to match Glamorgan's score from the first innings, they need 21 from this over, because Glamorgan were 43 for none after their 6.
Yeah, run rate required climbed up to 9 and over now, so it is a tall order, but it is still early days, and there are players in this Sussex team who can do a lot of damage with the bat. As we mentioned, Collis, 15 runs already off 16 deliveries, so just going about her business quite nicely early on, but Cobbin again, and that's drifted down the leg side. See what she's trying to do, just keep that tight line and hope that ball will grip a little bit and spin, but just slightly wayward there. She comes in again, and that's more down the leg side, but this time Collis moves across and tries to drive that into the offside. And another dot ball here. The dot ball's piling up for the Sharks. That's dragged down, and Collis will hit it out to the leg side to find Scarborough out there and come through for 1. And Green looks to give herself some room, but only finds the fielder there at point. Another dot ball, so a decent over so far from Cobb. I'm waiting for the umpire's signal. No wide on that one. Rule to have come off the pad or the glove or something. And that's well bowled from Cobb. It's a really strong over from her. Sussex are 24 for 2 off the first 6 overs. And another strong over from Katie Cobb. And the run rate required 9.5 and over now. So a tall order here, Blake, already for the Sussex Sharks.
Yeah, and as I mentioned at the end of the previous over, it all comes from the power play. 43 Glamorgan had for no loss. A big start for them, which allowed them to progress with high-risk cricket, which ended up being high reward, putting the pressure on the fielders, particularly Gammon and Ellis, with their strong running between the wickets. As I said, which was a continuation of a strong start from Daisy Jeans in particular. And Sussex just haven't been able to get that 24 for 2 from their power players. Emily Burke bowls a wide on this occasion to start her over. But Glamorgan now can spread the field. 3 deep leg side, 1 on the offside, as they just attempt to control Sussex's run rate, as they have been doing when the fielders were inside the circle. But Sussex do have plenty to come still. It's been a strong start from Collis, who's 16 from 19 deliveries now, after just facing up to that dot ball where she looked to play into the offside. But Talitha Stanley, 29 not out in the previous round in the middle order as part of the saviour from that 8 for 3 top order collapse. Eve O'Neill also very capable, down at around number 7. We predict she got 20 against Buckinghamshire on that occasion. However, there was a bizarre scenario as Anna Lewis was timed out.
Don't see too much of that these days. Not sure what happened there. Maybe wasn't quite sure that she was going in, and
yeah, I think I saw a clip of this. I'll just see what Burke does with this delivery. Is short and pulled into the leg side, but will only be 1 run. Yeah, I'm sure I saw a clip of this. I think it was the last ball of the innings, and there was a run out off a no ball or a stumping off a wide or something. So she'd already taken her pads off, and she just wasn't ready to go.
Yeah, one of them. Rare moment, as you say. Well, they won the game in the end, so it didn't matter in the end. But yeah, just something that will annoy the coaching staff more than anything, I think. You know, those kind of moments of lapse of concentration, perhaps lapse of communication, paying attention. And Burke has just come back nicely after initial wide off that first ball.
Did you have that one? A good line and a slight misfield off her own bowling, but she won't be too disappointed as it only goes for 1 run as Parfitt, the captain, comes around from mid-off to do the fielding. I'd say it wasn't quite as rare as what's been unfolding this morning, though, in the T20 qualifiers between UAE and Qatar.
Yeah, you were telling me this in the break. Do you want to tell the viewers what happened in that one?
Yeah, you might want to have a look at the scorecard just to quite understand, as this one's up in the air, but it's sweetly struck, relatively straight. It's a big boundary out there, though, so it won't go all the way for 4, just the 1 cut off on the boundary. As Alid mentioned, a good comeback from Burke after starting with a wide. Sussex 29 for 2 as it comes to story time with me, Blake Bint. So, have a look at the scorecard if you don't understand. But UAE batting first were 192 for no loss after 16 overs, with both openers going well. But with rain around, they wanted to declare so that they could ensure they get a result against Qatar. Declaration not allowed in T20 cricket. They decide to time out 10 batters who all rush their kit on, come to the crease, retire out without facing a ball, and then rush back to the side. No idea on the second innings, not sure if they got a result or not, but one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in cricket.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever seen that before, and you've just got to love the rules of cricket, haven't you, and how people come up with these inventive ways to get around the rules. As Sarah Phillips comes on at the Cathedral Road end, and when borderline wide, I think Green was asking the umpire for that one, but no arms from the umpire, and good start here for Phillips.
Good running from the Sharks as they come back for 2, especially out towards that shorter boundary side. I'm sure Glamorgan will be slightly disappointed after setting such high standards all throughout this game so far that they leaked a couple on that occasion. But a good start for Phillips, as you say.
And that's chipped up into the leg side. It'll fall short of Scarborough down there at deep mid-wicket, but Phillips just not allowing Collis to free her arms here, and one of the few West Wales representatives in this Glamorgan team, as a full toss is hit into the leg side, and Scarborough will cut that one off again, so she's busy down there at deep mid-wicket, and it's going to be called a no ball. So an extra delivery here for and it's going to be a free hit, is it? Yeah. Umpire gives the signal. Free hit for Kiara Green as she looks to go down the ground, but just misses out. Interesting to see whether there was a bat on that. Maybe just a slight edge. They'll come back for 2 off that extra. Just looking for a signal from the umpire.
No, I think it was off the edge.
Yeah.
A good delivery. Shame it was a free hit from Sarah Phillips. As you mentioned, I think she is the only player in this Glamorgan side from west of Swansea.
Yeah.
Llanelli.
Yeah. Yeah, she's Cardiff Met as well. And a decent start for her, 7 from it. And the Sussex Sharks are 36 for 2 off 8 overs. That run rate again, just keeping an eye on that run rate. Climbed again now to just over 10 and over. So these two, who have built a decent partnership so far, just need to start to get going really. If they're going to have any sort of chance in this game. Partnership between these two now up to 24.
Number 11, Eve Jackson.
Well, 17-year-old Eve Jackson, as you may have just heard over the tannoy by our announcer here at Sapphire Gardens. Eve Jackson will come on to bowl. The 2007 born from Abergavenny, if that makes anyone feel old.
It certainly does.
Already represented Wales at a senior level before the tier structure came into place, so although it may sound bizarre, plenty of experience at 17 years old. The medium pacer, to which Georgia Parfitt stands up to the stumps. That one nicely timed into the offside, but it is very well fielded in the cover region, with just the one fielder on pursuit of the boundary out there to the longer side. There's also a long on, a deep square and a deep mid wicket, so
I think that was B. Ellis in there. Some fantastic contribution with the bat, and now contributing in the field also.
Eve Jackson, one of, I mentioned in the first innings, 7 Newport players in this Glamorgan squad, just the 7. I'm sure they'll all be seeing how they go tomorrow, if Rachel Priest has made them unavailable, which I'm not sure. It's only a T20 that may be available for tomorrow. Who knows? We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, T20. It's should be able to survive 2 games in a weekend, shouldn't they?
Yeah, the Women's League in South Wales, I believe, is 40 overs, so maybe there'll be restrictions on bowling, but particularly the batters, I'm sure they'd want to play as much cricket as they can. And this one does just stray down the leg side. It's pulled away nicely by Captain Kiara Green, and she doesn't miss out on that loose delivery. Gets 4. There is a deep backward square, but couldn't quite get round in time after it beat the short, fine leg fielder. So will be a little bit of disappointment from young Jackson.
Yeah, worked away really nicely behind square there from Green. Just used the pace on the ball and try to hit it too hard, and a nice boundary for Green as they come through for another single.
Speaking of keeping an eye on how players will be getting on tomorrow when the Women's League starts in South Wales, you can go on Glamorgan Cricket website today. There's a club watch from last Saturday, the opening weekend of fixtures. So you can see how some players at Premier level got on. That's in men's and women's cricket. As a wide's given there, and Jackson looks a little bit disappointed with that one as Collis looked to ramp. She moved across her stumps, but as is in the rules, if it misses leg stump, it is a wide. And I just looked to my left, and Ben Kellaway has reached 150. Shame I missed that, because I saw he was still a little bit short when Asita Fernando came in, who's very much a number 11. So he did manage to survive for Kellaway to reach the target, who looks as though he's just hit a massive 6 off Matt Parkinson, the former England leg spinner. Glamorgan 526 for 9 in that men's game. And in the women's game, Sussex Sharks 43 for 2 off 9 as the ball hands over back to Llanelli's Sarah Phillips. Sussex need over 10 and over, Aled.
And not bad pronunciation there for an Englishman, Llanelli.
Thank you, I've been working on it.
Yeah, it's climbing up now, but you have to say, boundary in that last over, nicely worked away from Green, and they are taking singles. They are trying to make the most of the loose deliveries that Glamorgan are offering them, but there hasn't been too many. The bowling's been very good from Glamorgan. Not too many loose deliveries on offer, and as Collis looks to go down the ground again, it'll go to Gammon there at long on. Quite surprised Beth Gammon is down there at long on. She usually is somewhere in the cover regions, but doing a good job down there in the deep. But run rate climbing, but not too sure what these Sussex batters can do about that, because it's been tight bowling and good fielding so far. There's one of the looser deliveries comes in, and George Adams threw an attempt at the stumps, but was off.
Yeah, I don't think they'll worry too much about the run rate just yet, as long as these two remain at the crease. This is the vital partnership for the Sharks, you feel. 37 it is so far, Collis and Green.
On the flip side, you look at the Glamorgan bowlers, and usually you'd say keeping rotating the strike as a batting unit is good, but the Glamorgan bowlers look pretty comfortable just facing or bowling to either of these two. It doesn't the rotation doesn't seem to be causing them too many problems, and the Sharks will need to start finding the boundary with fairly regular timing soon or enough, and that's a chance for Adam. She was lightning quick again, getting the bails off. Not this time though. She looked to the square leg umpire, nothing given. So the end of the 10th over, the Sharks are halfway through their innings. They're 49 for 2 with 108 remaining to win off the final 60 balls. And I've got to say, I've been really impressed with Georgia Parfitt in these two games that I've covered here against Sussex behind the stumps. She's standing up to every bowler, and she's lightning quick with those gloves. So that's in your mind when you're a batter. You cannot stray outside your crease, because you will be walking back to the shed if you miss it.
Yeah, definitely, particularly when you've got those seamer type bowlers, even the medium pacers like Eve Jackson, the youngster, who's in for a second over, and that's really good work, in particular down the leg side, although not given a wide, maybe just the appeal for the stumping distracting the umpire, as Collis looks back at the umpire with disappointment, feeling aggrieved to not get the decision her way. The 28-year-old Sussex batter, got plenty of experience. I'm sure she knows that's a wide. Formerly of the Vipers in the old regional setup. She looks to heave that one away to the leg side. Only finds deep mid-wicket for one. It feels like only 2 minutes ago I spoke about Ben Calloway being on 150. He's on 176 after hitting 23 from that Matt Parkinson over. I think it's fair to say he doesn't trust Asita Fernando with a first-class average of 5 at the other end.
No, he's and that one is given a wide this time. No, he's solely relying on Fernando to do his damage with the ball, and Kellaway's going to take it on his shoulders to motor Glamorgan more towards 550, as they're around 544 at the moment, as Jackson's back in, and another dot ball there. So a decent over so far from Jackson, as the ball zinged into Adams from that mid-off region.
Yeah, back on focus at Sapphire Gardens. 5 bowlers used from Glamorgan so far, as we are in the 11th over. That one high in the air. Is it going to go all the way? Fielder underneath it. Doesn't quite time their run in, and she does prevent it from going for 4, so I suppose some form of positive, but she'll definitely be disappointed not to have got the catch. I'm not quite sure who that is.
It's
it was
Beth
high.
Gammon out there. It's she's not the tallest member of the team, and I think the her lack of height there just beat her in the end, and maybe a little bit into that sun as well on that side. But yeah, as you said, she'll be disappointed. That's a nice shot down the ground, beautiful drive down the ground. It'll be cut off in the deep though. Yeah, looks like to me she just lost that in the sun slightly, and lack of height beating her. As good a player as she is, you can't practice height, can you? It's you're either giving it or you're not.
Unfortunately not. It did look like she was underneath it, but yeah, it did just creep over. The ball was in the air a long time. Still looking for first 6 of the day. However, these boundaries are not particularly small, so we won't give them any misjustice to say for not hitting any, because there's been plenty of good batting, plenty of boundary hitting and destructiveness, and if anything, safer not hitting it in the air.
Well, what was the old Don Bradman saying? If you don't hit it in the air, you can't get out. And not sure that would apply to T20 as much as it'd be interesting to see how he approached the T20 game had he played in this era. But
I'm sure he would have been fine.
Yeah,
bat sizes. It's all about the bat sizes.
Yeah. And interesting seeing the umpires with these sort of, I don't know what you'd call them, but as soon as every batter comes out, they're putting it through the ring, aren't they? The bat, testing the size of the bat, making sure they're within the regulations. And this partnership just moving on nicely now, up to 44, so just approaching that 50 partnership between these two, Collis and Green.
Yeah, some potentially concerns for Glamorgan, although the run rate is still creeping. That's a lovely shot, swept into the gap. Although the fielder does well coming round. I'm going to guess that's Charlotte Scarborough, 22.
Yep.
Yes, I think I've got that right. Does well just to prevent the boundary, keep it to 2. It's been a good spell so far from Sarah Phillips. A couple of loose balls, as you would generally allow a leg spinner. Normally they're the ones that get the wickets, so definitely let her off. And that one is short. Pulled away to deep square, just 1 on this occasion. As you say, the Sussex partnership is building, so maybe a sign of concern. Potentially time for Gemma Porter to come back on. Not sure what other bowlers. They have used 5. Who would the 6th option be?
Just looking down my list now, and yeah, not too sure. Maybe I think Daisy Jeans had a few overs in the last game here.
That was my guess as well.
Not mistaken. As another strong over from Phillips ends, and at the end of 12 overs, Sussex are 59 for 2. And just before that, those last 2 deliveries of that over, we had 100 runs to win off 50 balls, so it was exactly 2 runs and over. Just crept up slightly over that now, so a tall order, as we've said, for Sussex, but these two going well in the middle. And I think even if Sussex don't chase this total down in the end, there'll be positives to take from these two spending time in the middle, building a partnership, and that's well struck to the leg side. Could be in trouble here, and it's well taken in the deep, and that'll bring an end to Green's innings. The captain looking to pull that one into the leg side, and she just picked out the fielder down there at deep backward square leg. A little bit shorter from, banged in a little bit more from, sorry, it's not backward square leg, it was at deep square leg. Didn't quite see who was down there. Might be the Loney. Emily Burke, yeah, as it's confirmed over the tannoy, and Green has to depart for 25. So just as we were saying, this partnership was building. Green looking for that boundary, gets herself out, but she'll be pleased, I think, with that contribution. Some time spent in the middle with Collis as Jazz Wesley comes in for Sussex, and 59 for 3. Got a lot of work to do if they're going to win this game. But Collis is still there. She's going well, and she'll look to build a partnership again with Wesley.
Yeah, plenty to do, as you say, Alid. Probably the right option for Green. It was there to be hit, especially to the shorter pavilion side. But Eve Jackson got her reward as deserved after the... Well, it wasn't even a drop from Gammon. It just evaded her as she came running in. Just slightly leapfrogged her, but no mistake on this occasion, as it was the Surrey Loney Burke at deep square to take the catch. So well done, young Eve Jackson, just 17 years of age, bowling at an important stage in this match when it is 12 runs and over required, or in excess of at this stage now. Who's just 1 for 12 from her 2.2 over so far, bowling very well.
Yeah, Eve Jackson, one of 5 in this Glamorgan squad that are just 17 years of age. So really, really great to see her breaking through into the first team and doing so well at such a young age. And plenty of promise with 4 others so young in the squad breaking through. As we mentioned, the Women's South Wales Premier League earlier on, getting underway tomorrow. Just so important that these clubs play such a big part in these players' development and playing regular cricket, as that's paddled down behind the stumps, and Phillips will field it.
Yeah, just the 2. Collis not interested in a third, despite Wesley, I think, wanting to come back from the non-striker's end. Collis, though, has to take it upon herself at this stage. She's the one with the experience at the crease. 28 from 34 deliveries. It is very vacant at short third, I say, as I'm just about to curse myself as a fielder comes in to fill that void. So now there's a gap at mid-wicket. There's a deep mid-wicket and a long on, but if Jackson drops short, I'm sure that's where Collis will be aiming. He is down the leg side, but full enough for Collis to not care about and just take the wide.
A rare fumble from Parfitt there. She's been near enough perfect behind the stumps so far. Doesn't result in any sundries though. Any misfields or runs taken.
That's well played by Collis. Smartly just played up to mid-on, or they're going to come back for 2, and she might be run out here. Direct hit as well, and that's gone. It was a left-handed throw, so I'm going to assume it's Katie Cobb. I'm happily will be corrected, but that's my guess. But it was a direct hit from mid-on. Could have been 2 there. They did set off straight away, but it was an impeccable throw to dismiss the dangerous batter, Collis.
Yeah, I don't think there was 2 there. Collis didn't run that first one particularly hard.
Oh, it wasn't a direct hit. It was taken right on top of the stumps by Parfitt, who, as you say, barely put a foot wrong so far, and definitely showcasing why she's in the team despite being down to bat at number 9. Georgia Parfitt definitely making her place worth shown in this side, because she has been very strong behind the stumps, stumping a catch and now completing that run out.
Brings Lucy Weston out to the crease. She had spent some time in Australia this winter, playing out in New South Wales, and won a first grade title out there with St George Sutherland Cricket Club in Sydney. So plenty of cricket under her belt in the winter, and see what she can do now as that ends Jackson's over. 2 wickets in that over, well, 1 with the run out, and it will bring Phillips back on at this Cathedral Road end. Sussex now 65 for 4 with 7 overs remaining. So as we continue to say, an ever-growing task if they're going to win this game, but I think just building partnerships and getting minutes in the middle for these batters now will be the main focus.
Phillips given her 4 overs straight through, as we saw from Sussex when Eve O'Neill, the leg spinner, was given the exact same spell, 4 overs straight through. She has bowled well as young Sarah Phillips, the Cardiff Met student, bowling to the short offside boundary, but would be hitting with the turn, so she knows she can't offer too much width, and she has bowled superbly so far, just restricting to around a runner ball. At this stage, as Sussex are 67 for 4. 2 relatively new batters at the crease, and a tall order if they want to host Lancashire next Saturday. So Glamorgan, it looks likely that they're going to have a bit of a dilemma on their hands, because the men are playing here in a 4-day game.
Yeah. Oh, good fielding again there. I think it was Scarborough potentially in there. Oh, no. Daisy Jeans it was, with a good sharp piece of fielding, but comfortably back. Yeah, as you mentioned, hosting Lancashire next weekend, and might be the down to Newport Cricket Club again potentially for that game, where this team have played quite a lot of their cricket so far, and really lovely ground down there in Newport, as that one's hit over the top and it just evades the fielder, and it'll run away for 4. So just over the outstretched hand of Parfitt, I think it is down there, the captain. And a welcome boundary for the Sharks. It was Wesley who just managed to guide it over the infield.
No wickets for 24.
And it'll end the over. A good spell for Phillips. 0 for 24. Does her job nicely. And Sussex at the end of 14 are 71 for 4. As Eve Jackson will continue at the River Taff end for her final over. 1 for 18 so far through her first 3.
Yeah, exactly, just to repeat what you've said, because Jackson and Phillips both at 6 and over, and when you set a total of 157 to win, going at 6 is absolutely fine, especially when Gemma Porter still got 2 overs left in the tank. She's just 1 for 1. 0.5 runs and over, not a bad economy in any form of cricket, let alone the shortest. And the young 17-year-old, she's given a chance to show her abilities in an important stage of the game once again.
I'll tell you what, Blake, this game has raced by, it seems. I know we started just slightly before 12, but I just checked the time in the corner of my screen, and it's only 20 past 2. This game feels like it's flown by.
I know, none of the messing around, changing fields and wasting time between overs. Not quite, no strategic timeouts like you get in the IPL. This is proper fast-paced T20 cricket. And if you haven't been down here, then you've been missing out. Although you've had our company, so, win-win. Jackson, strong start to her over. Once again, just the 3 singles. And
That's
a stumping off a wide. That is unbelievable work from Georgia Parfitt. We've already been singing her praises. Eve Jackson, well, only she will know if that was deliberately chucked wider. But looking to cut and use her feet. I think she did see her coming. I think that's really smart bowling. And it's really good work from Georgia Parfitt as well. That's exactly why she's in the side, and Eve Jackson won't care about giving away the wide. Another well-deserved wicket for her in her final over, and Sussex now fallen to 76 for 5. We saw them struggle with the bat in their first round, getting just 128 against a Tier 3 side, Buckinghamshire. That was a recovery from 8 for 3 as well. But on this occasion, it looks like 157. Too much of a tall order. 76 for 5 they are, with just 5.5 overs remaining.
Yeah, top work again from Parfitt behind the stumps, and we've said it so many times in this game. Absolutely excellent. She hasn't put a foot wrong hardly, and it's a real asset to this Glamorgan team when you've got such a sharp wicket keeper behind the stumps, as we mentioned before. Puts in the mind of those batters when she's standing up to the stumps that they cannot stray outside the crease, cannot get down to the pitch of the ball, or if they're gonna have to be very, very quick getting back into the crease, because Georgia Parfitt is lightning behind those stumps. So Talitha Stanley in now at number 7, and her first ball is an attempted ramp shot, so interesting from her. Not something I would usually go with on my first ball, but
well, that could tell me either two things. She plays the ramp shot well, or she knows her boundary options are limited elsewhere. She tries it again. Reverse one this time, but it's just snooker cued out to point. Well, one eventful couple of balls we've seen from Talitha Stanley to start with. I hope she stays in for the next 5.1 overs, because this could be an entertaining finish to this game here at Sapphire Gardens.
Final ball for Jackson then. Oh, was that a no ball?
It was meant to be the final ball.
Again, we've cursed it. Commentator's curse is a real thing. Meant to be the final ball for Jackson. As just looking up to the left-hand side of my screen, Kent are now batting down in Canterbury. They're 5 for no loss off the first over. So Glamorgan all out. We'll have to find out what they finished on in the end.
I think it was a declaration.
It was a declaration.
549 for 9, I believe it was.
So that brings to an end a really good spell for Eve Jackson, the 17-year-old. She's taken 2 wickets in her 4 overs, and she'll be really pleased with that. Just finding out what the final scores were for her. Looks like it was 2 for 22 off her 4 overs, and she'll be really pleased with her afternoon's work.
Eve Jackson, 4 overs, no maidens, 2 wickets for 26.
26 in the end. Those added on, those final runs. And looks like Katie Cobb is going to come back on to bowl at the Cathedral Road end. Final 5 overs of this game then. Sussex 80 for 5. They need 77 runs to win, and I think it's just about out of reach now. But as we mentioned, Stanley and Weston will look to get minutes in the middle at a fantastic ground like Sapphire Gardens as well. Always a treat for these players to spend time in the middle at such a fantastic ground.
Yeah, definitely. Second time they've been playing here this season, so good time for them to play at a test venue as well.
Yeah, it's a long way up from Hove as well, so they will want to make the most of their journey.
Wonder what their plans will be. Do you think straight home or a night out in Cardiff?
You'd be tempted, wouldn't you? It's a great city for a night out, and depends, I suppose, what commitments they have for the rest of the weekend. Some more games perhaps for these players, coaches as well potentially. So it might be straight back on the coach down to the south coast, but as Weston just nurses that one down to Gammon at long on and take a single.
I can just bring you the update from the men's game. It was 549 for 9 declared. Ben Kellaway, 181 not out, he finished. Previous best score before today was achieved only on Monday. A score of 76 off the top of my head. So 181, far better.
And Glamorgan have struck early with a wicket. 5 for 1 Kent at the moment. Harris with the wicket. And see who it was. But Compton and Bell Drummond at the crease now for Kent.
Harry Finch, LBW, in Harris's first over, just his second ball, back from injury. James Harris, the Glamorgan stalwart.
And it's all positive at the moment for both the men's and women's teams. Cobb bowling really well here. She's in a final over. And she's been tight as well. 1 for 19 with a final delivery to come. Cobb herself just 19 years of age. So another youngster in this team. As Weston looks to move her feet a little bit, but can't quite get it away over the top, and it'll just be into the offside for one. So a really good spell as well for Katie Cobb. She ends her 4 overs 1 for 20, and should be really pleased again with that. And I'm sure Lauren Parfitt and Rachel Priest will be very pleased with their youngsters making such a handful contribution to this game.
Yeah, very strong stuff from Glamorgan. As we mentioned earlier on, they are going to be a Tier 1 team in just 2 years' time, so building those budding youngsters up in Tier 2 cricket, where they'll be hoping to dominate this league, I'm sure. Sussex, one of their one-day opponents, as Alid worked on first game of the season, where Glamorgan cruised to victory, and now looks as though they're going to do the same in the T20 County Cup, as Gemma Porter returns for a second spell after bowling 2 overs 1 for 1 with the new ball. She's now coming back for the 17th and my guess is the 19th over as well.
Yeah, and well struck down the ground that time by Weston, looking to take Porter on. First ball she's faced of Gemma Porter. Just the one though on that occasion.
Porter continuing to go round the wicket. That one chipped just past mid-off. It didn't look like she was entirely in control or timing that one, Weston, but manages to get through for 2 as Long On comes round to do the fielding. Score to 88 for 5, improbable 69 still required. And you spoke about how quickly this game has progressed, Alid. 3 2:30 starts in this County Cup this afternoon, not even underway yet. So it just goes to show. And a run-out chance, she's been hit there, that looked nasty. Throw in from cover, an apologetic hand goes up as the ball was attempted to be whizzed into Georgia Parfitt. Did strike Talitha Stanley attempting the run. I think she's okay.
Yeah, Parfitt just checking she's okay as well, even before she went to field that ball. So yeah, looks like she's okay. Obviously completely accidental, and she looks fine to continue.
So Porter continuing in this over, and she's bowled, looking to ramp, looking to be deft and clever. Doesn't work this time. Porter just sticking to her line, trusting herself, and it pays off once again, getting her second wicket of the afternoon, bowling the left-handed Weston.
Yeah, more of that really good attacking line from Porter, and I was just about to say that she has a left-hand, right-hand combination to contend with, which was different from her first spell, but she dismisses that quickly unless the incoming batter is another left-hander. She just uses that really nice attacking line from around the wicket, cramping the batter for room, and they're looking to pull something out of the bag, Stanley, or a ramp shot of sorts or a sweep shot, looking to find any kind of space. Just ends up getting beaten by Porter, who is 2 for 5. Excellent figures from the Warwickshire Loney.
And of course your scoreboard on your screen doesn't deceive you. It is It was Stanley who was dismissed, not Weston, who I previously said, as there's a run-out appeal after a quick single up to mid-off in the ring, but they are home comfortably. Sussex 90 for 6. Gemma Porter, as you mentioned, Alid, 2 for 6. A magnificent spell of bowling from her, as Glamorgan look as though they're going to get to victory pretty comfortably. Emily Burke still 2 overs left, and Porter with 1 herself, as this one concludes with Weston looking to cut away but getting no bat on it. So 2 for 6 is the Warwickshire Loney. Those tier 1 players just showing the difference, and with 3 overs remaining, Sussex needing 67.
And it looks like Burke will be returning. They sound quite distinctive for us. The only one out there without a name or number on her shirt. And she's a Loney, as we've mentioned.
I'm sure Glamorgan would love to give her one though.
Exactly, yeah. Get the guys in the pro shop to print one.
Or to get her on a permanent deal.
Exactly, yeah. And that's flat batted back down to Gammon at long on. They'll look for 2, will they? No, they're not the one to take a 2 to Beth Gammon, if that made any sense at all.
Yeah, I think they're just comfortable at the crease now. They're not going to run themselves out, do anything silly. I think they know the results beyond them. Just enjoy some time at the crease.
Absolutely. Play your shots. Looking for 2 there was O'Neill, who was very, very impressive with the ball in the Glamorgan innings. As we mentioned, she was the pick of the bowlers for the Sussex Sharks, as she was here last time in the 50-over game that was reduced to 25. Very impressive young player, as she works that one away into the offside. Look for 2 again, will she? No, we'll just get the 1, as we mentioned. No need to do anything silly to run yourself out at this stage. Time in the crease is valuable here for the Sussex players. And Birkin again, well bowled. Keeping it nice and tight in these final few overs or so.
The more I see of this, the more impressed I am by Glamorgan's total, because that one was short from Burke, and I'm not sure if she rolled her fingers down it or not, but it just didn't come onto the bat at all. So Glamorgan's total looking like a really impressive one now, 156.
Yeah, and it was from contributions all over the lineup, really, wasn't it? That helped them to that total, and I think that will really please Rachel Priest and Lauren Parfitt as well. That down the order, or all around the order, sorry, that they're for the most part getting contributions. Birkin again, final ball, and no wide on that one. Was close, but a really nice over again from Burke. And with 2 overs left to bowl, Sussex on 94 for 6. Lucy Weston out there on 14, and Eve O'Neill on 3.
And as predicted, Gemma Porter will bowl the penultimate over, and the final one from the River Taff end, right arm around the wicket, as she has been for her entirety so far. Single taken up to mid-off relatively comfortably. Well, Sussex should get to 3 figures, 95 for 6 with 11 balls remaining. Another single taken down. There is a quick turn from Weston, who was quick running that first one, but Eve O'Neill had other ideas. Comfortable with 1. Porter continuing to impress for Glamorgan here at Sophia Gardens.
Yeah, she's been excellent. Really, that one just skids off the edge, and will it run away? Does it have enough legs? Yeah, it just will reach the boundary, so that'll scupper Porter's figures slightly. That one off the edge. Cobb was unable to prevent it from crossing the boundary, but as we mentioned, she's been outstanding in this game.
It was nearly really good work from Katie Cobb.
Yeah,
just beat her by about half a second, because the flick back was really impressive. It just touched the rope but didn't even trickle over. There was that little pace on the ball. That one pulled away by Weston, who's enjoying her time out in the middle. She moves to 20, and Sussex's score passed 100 with that boundary off the edge, so little positives for the South Coast side. But Glamorgan take the positives more so. 156 in the first innings, and now restricting Sussex to what looks like a score that will be underneath a run a ball in a really impressive all-round display. And I tell you, they'll put up a fight against Lancashire, who'll be playing their first T20 game of the year, of course. Not playing in an earlier round in this competition. Glamorgan already with 2 under their belts.
Yeah, I think what's really impressed me in the first month or so of this Glamorgan's women's team is they just all seem to be playing without any fear at all. It's a really brave group that they've got here, who are just really enjoying their cricket, it seems. And you know, they're a new team. They might be a bit of a surprise package for some who might not, especially those sides more in the north of the country, as we mentioned, Lancashire, who might not be as familiar with these players as some of these in the south. So, you know, when there's unfamiliarity, it can breed a few upsets potentially. And yeah, this side playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. It's brilliant to see.
Well, Emily Burke bowling the final over. So Lauren Parfitt's managed her bowl as well. They will all end with 4 overs apiece, all 5 of them, unless there's any strangeties go on here.
And Gemma Porter there ending with on 2 for 14 off her 4 overs. Absolutely superb. Really excellent figures.
Yeah, all the bowlers have been incredibly consistent. Katie Cobb just 21 runs, Sarah Phillips 25, Eve Jackson 26, so all impressive. And Burke adds to the impressive bowling display from Glamorgan because she picks up a wicket, and it's yet another dismissal for Georgia Parfitt.
That's the 3rd stumping of the game.
3rd stumping.
Unbelievable. Really good from the wicket keeper.
That one moved away,
yeah.
Me.
Similar to the last one, wasn't it? It looked to be not given a wide, I don't think, by the umpire, but very close to being one. And again, lightning hands from Parfitt behind the stumps. As Lottie Curlin will come out for the final throws of this game. 4 balls or so to face. And as we mentioned, valuable time for these players to get some, even though it might be only 4 balls, to get some time out in the middle here at such a brilliant ground, Sophia Gardens test venue, as we mentioned. And that's well bowled from Burke.
Yeah, in particular for Lucy Weston, who was just dismissed on that previous delivery. But 20 off 20, she came in with not too much responsibility, knowing the game was away from her. Coming into the side after not playing in the previous round, so I'm sure it's been a decent audition from her for a place in their next game, regardless of format. Just moving down to the closing stages. Still 3 balls left to bowl after that wide from Burke, who has struggled at times to find her line, but that one is right back on the money. The Surrey Loney, who, fair play to her, wanting to protect her figures. Still the 4 fielders outside the 25-yard circle, making sure nothing goes entirely wrong, with 52 required from 2 deliveries. That one is nicely played actually from Curling, cut away up to deep cover. 106 for 7, and Eve O'Neill with a free swing, last ball of the innings, as Glamorgan are about to seal a place into round 3 against Tier 1 Lancashire. Emily Burke bangs it in, is swatted down the ground, and Lauren Parfitt nearly pulls off an unbelievable catch coming round from mid-off as it didn't quite clear the circle. In the end, Sussex scamper back for 2, but it's to no impact on the outcome. Sussex finish 108 for 7 and fall short by 48 runs against Glamorgan in what was an impressive all-round display, and they will host Lancashire next Saturday. And Alid, it's been, as I say, just a brilliant all-round display and contributions all over the batting order. All ages of bowlers contributing, with wickets shared as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Really strong team performance again from Glamorgan. As it mentioned just now, this is a team riding high on confidence and playing fearless cricket at the moment in their first month of existence, really, and they're really coming together nicely as a group and as a team. We mentioned contributions from all over. Daisy Jeans with 35, Beth Gammon 41, B. Ellis 33, and over on the bowling side, Gemma Porter was excellent with the ball, 2 for 14 off her 4 overs. Katie Cobb, the 19-year-old, really strong performance from her as well, 1 for 21 off her 4 overs. Eve Jackson, the 17-year-old, 2 for 26 off 4 overs, and a really strong performance that Rachel Priest will be absolutely delighted with. Again, another, well, I don't want to say easy, but a comfortable win over the Sussex Sharks here at Sophia Gardens, and they'll go into the next round against Lancashire with a lot of confidence, I'm sure.
That they will. As I said earlier, Lancashire will not have played a T20 game yet this year. Just to mention for the Sussex listeners, there were definitely some positives in there. Eve O'Neill in particular with the ball, 2 for 19 from her 4. There were also 2 wickets for Anna Buckle, who went for 30 from her 3. Slightly expensive, but 2 wickets to go with it. A wicket for also captain Kiara Green, and also for Lottie Curling, who were 1 for 27 and 1 for 35 respectively. They got off to a positive start through Izzy Collis with 29 before she was run out. Captain Kiara Green also had 25 and 20 from Lucy Weston, but it wasn't enough as Sussex fell 48 runs short to see Glamorgan through to round 3 of the T20 Women's County Cup.